So let's take a look at some of the highlights from Bond. 5'11", 180, not a huge guy, but you can see the speed, the burst, and the acceleration. Was with Texas last year. We mentioned a couple of years with Alabama before that. You see they use him in the red zone a lot as well. The gadget play, that's like something Kevin Stefanski loves trying to do. Let's see if Bond has the ability to run those jet sweeps. But here's what you like. As they say, you can't coach 4-2, 4-3, and there's a lot of acceleration and some moves in the open field. When you take a look at his scouting report, this is from NFL, they grade him as an eventual plus starter, above a 6. I think it was a 6.39 was his grade. Comparison is Jalen Waddle. All right, you kind of like that. Another Alabama wide receiver. High school sprint, state champ, top end speed, hips and agility, snap routes off tightly and separate. You saw some of that. Natural hands, willingness to catch in traffic. Weaknesses, with all those skill set, just 99 catches in 3 seasons. Speed variance, so it's starting and stopping and route running, and he can become overwhelmed by size when contested. The weaknesses are only going to be magnified a little bit in the NFL, especially the size. When you look at him, slot, outside, what do you see with Bond? What's the best way to use him?
I think he's a guy that's not going to get a super high volume of targets. I think it's a good thing to point that out as the first weakness there, because he's a guy who at times, and we've seen receivers like this throughout the league for years and years, that it's kind of home run or strike out with him, right? He might be a guy that has 3 catches for 120 yards because he's hit 2 bombs, and you really go, wow, he's really made these game-changing plays in a flash, right? He can do that on any play with his speed, but also there are weeks where he disappears, right? The lack of physicality to get off press coverage. You mentioned he's only 180 pounds. I think that's something he struggles with. So I think you're going to see opposing defenses challenge him in press coverage when he does get on the field. And then more details in the route running, right? I think there's times where he snaps off and it looks really smooth. And then there's other times where you go, okay, why is this guy so fast, but he doesn't always separate the way you want him to? What he is you think about just one of those low volume, high efficiency targets that when he's hitting those deep balls, it's really good. I think the comp to Jalen Waddle might be a little bit high because I think Waddle's better after the catch than Bond is, but certainly the speed is the biggest factor in his game, and the ability to hit home runs deep down the field. If the Browns can get him the ball, is something that's where he would affect the game the most, is deep down the field.